On my birthday weekend, I decided to stay 2 nights on the Roseville sub. Even though this was not all over the Roseville sub, this was still worth it, because I got some pretty good spots and some pretty good trains. Now, let's start with the first day of the vacation. On Saturday, July 26th, we start our trip up the Roseville sub. As I get to Sacramento, I get news of Amtrak 164 trailing on California's F5. Even though this was a trail fail, I have not seen 164 ever. So I decide to stop at Roseville because it's Roseville, literally Fulmerville. Anyways, before Amtrak 5 came, UP MROMI strolls through with UP 7317 leading. After MRMI clears, a grain train with back-to-back engines departs Roseville, with UP 6408 leading. As the grain train is passing, UP 2675 as a solo engine gets into the Y to clear for 5. When 2675 clears, Amtrak 5 finally arrives into Roseville. After the traffic clears, UP 2675 goes back to the yard to couple onto your grain train that I would see later in the video. As I was waiting for another train to come, I met another rail fan named 1023D, who's a pretty chill guy. And as we were waiting, an intermodal train comes out of the Valley sub, with UP 6293 leading. A little while after, UP 5819 as a power move stops next to the Y. The power move was stopped for a while until UP 7775, the back engine, pulls back into Roseville. Another power move with UP 9904 passes before Ying its power. Before the power move came back, UP 2675, the same engine I saw earlier, leaves another grainer out of Roseville. As the grain train is passing, the power move finally comes back from turning its power. I decided to take a food break at Subway, cause yes. As I was eating, I was told that 6379 leading UPMSPRV would arrive Roseville soon. So, after I ate, I decided to go near Rockland in freaking 90-degree weather, and 20 minutes later, the train strolled by. I called it a day here and went to my hotel for the night. The next day, on Sunday, July 27, I'd started off the day by going to Donner Lake. Here's a quick look at it. After a nice look at Donner Lake, I decided to go to a place where I could access the Truckee River. This is so I could see California 76 with 164 again. As I was waiting, an unexpected rerouted MGRRV with UP 8636 leading passes through. After the train cleared, I went to the other side to see 6 round the curve. We waited a little bit and then the train finally came by. After that, action near Truckee literally died for the whole day until nighttime, so I decided to call it off a day here. But after we saw these trains, I decided to go eat at the tracks, and for some reason a hailstorm. Anyways, after I ate, I decided to call it off a night here because there was literally nothing on the Roseville sub for the rest of the day until nighttime. So on the next day, on Monday, July 28th, it was officially my birthday! Yeah! On this day, I started my trip back home. But before I continued, I stopped at Soda Springs because Amtrak 5 was at Truckee as I left. So, because this was the place I knew the most near Truckee, I decided to stop here. We waited for 15 minutes until Amtrak 5 finally came, with AMTK 169 leading. At that point, I was about to leave Soda Springs to continue my trip back home. But I also got word of an eastbound MT ethanol train that was also on its way. So I waited another 10 to 15 minutes, and sure enough, UP 6958 rolls through. After that, I wasn't planning on stopping anywhere, so I just continued the trip until my friend Cindy from Sacramento told me that he would be railfanning at 3rd Street in Sacramento. So, because this was probably the perfect time to meet him, I decided to stop there. The first train we see is Amtrak 532 with Cap Car 8310 leading. Finally, the last train to end off this good birthday vacation is the same 5 that I saw at Soda Springs with AMTK 169 leading. And that officially concludes a very good birthday vacation. I enjoyed it and I hope something like this will happen again. This is where I'll be signing off. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. I'll try and get some more uploads in so that I can keep the channel alive. The next video will probably be about the Santa Clara meetup I had before my school started, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, I'm out. Bye.